My fellow Americans, there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, when the phrase the American dream didn't sound like a question. It sounded like a promise whispered by factory floors at dawn, a promise carried in the hands of immigrants clutching worn suitcases and impossible hope, a promise spoken quietly around dinner tables where parents believed deep in their bones that if they worked hard, played by the rules, and showed up every day, their children would stand taller than they ever could. Today, that promise is struggling to breathe. The American dream is not dead. But if we're honest with ourselves, it's on life support. And the most uncomfortable question we can ask right now is not what went wrong, but who is going to save it? Uh, the sound of a flat line we pretend not to hear. Across this country, millions are doing exactly what they were told to do. They went to school, they took on debt, uh, they worked two jobs, sometimes three. They followed the map their parents handed them, and still they're falling behind. Rent rises faster than wages. Healthcare feels like a gamble. Education, once a ladder, now looks like a trap. Young people aren't delaying homeownership because they're lazy. They're delaying it because the math no longer works. And here's the hardest part to admit. This didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen because of one party, one president, or one crisis. It happened slowly while we were busy arguing over symbols instead of systems, while we confused noise for progress, while we told people to work harder in an economy that stopped rewarding work. A dream doesn't die loudly, it fades quietly, until one day people stop believing it was ever real. Aye, when hard work stopped being enough. There was a moral contract at the heart of the American dream. It said, if you contribute, you belong. If you work, you're rewarded. If you play by the rules won't change mid-game. But for too many Americans today, the rules keep changing. And the referees seem to work for someone else. Productivity is up, profits are up, executive pay is up, but the dignity of work, the security of the middle class, the idea that one job should be enough to live on, those are slipping away. And when people feel the system is rigged, they don't just lose money. They lose trust, trust in institutions, trust in leaders, trust in each other. That erosion is far more dangerous than any deficit on a balance sheet. TII, the easy villains and the hard truth. In moments like this, it's tempting to look for villains, to blame immigrants, to blame the poor, to blame the rich, to blame technology, to blame the past. And yes, accountability matters. Power should answer to the people it affects. But here's the harder truth. The American dream cannot be saved by outrage alone. It cannot be restored by nostalgia. And it cannot be rebuilt by pretending we can go backward. There is no return to some perfect golden age, because that age was never perfect for everyone. The question is not how do we rewind history? The question is how do we rewrite the future? IV, who is going to save it? Let me tell you something that may frustrate you. There is no single savior coming, not a president, not a billionaire, not a movement hashtag, not a charismatic voice with the perfect speech. The American dream has always been a shared project, and it will only survive if we remember that government has a role to build fair rules, invest in people, protect opportunity. Business has a role to create value without extracting dignity. Communities have a role to look after one another beyond politics. But above all, citizens have a role. The dream is saved every time someone refuses to give up on education. Every time a worker organizes not out of anger, but out of hope. Every time a young person chooses participation over apathy. Every time we decide that democracy is not a spectator sport. A new dream for a new century. Saving the American dream does not mean preserving it in amber. It means expanding it. It means recognizing that in the 21st century, healthcare is not a privilege, it's the foundation of freedom. Education is not a luxury, it's infrastructure. Work should provide dignity, not just survival. And success should not require someone else's failure. The dream must evolve from anyone can make it to everyone deserves a fair shot. That's not socialism. That's not radicalism. That's the unfinished work of a nation still becoming itself. VI. The pulse is still there. Here's what gives me hope. Despite everything, people still show up. Teachers still teach, nurses still care, parents still sacrifice. Young people still believe change is possible even when we've given them every reason not to. That means the dream is still alive, weak, strained, but alive, and as long as it's alive, it can be healed. Zevin, the question returns to us. So when we ask who is going to save the American dream, we should be honest enough to accept the answer. It won't be one voice. It won't be one election. It won't be one moment. It will be us, deciding that cynicism is too small for the challenges we face, deciding that democracy is worth the effort, deciding that the dream belongs not to the loudest, but to the next generation. The American dream is on life support, but the heart is still beating. And the hands that can save it are the same hands that built it in the first place. The question is not whether it can survive. The question is whether we still believe it's worth saving. And if we do, then let's get to work.